Hi, I'm Chris Lewis, firefighter for the Lakeville Fire Department. Welcome to another edition of On Call. The goal of this program is to educate and inform citizens of Lakeville about how Lakeville's all-volunteer fire department trains and responds to emergencies. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this edition of On Call. We talk with District Chief Brian Kilmartin about a new scene management program LFD is using. The latest news and happenings around Lakeville Fire Department. Chief Mike Myers shows us a new fire extinguishing training kit. We'll talk about elevator training in our Did You Know? Tabor returns to answer another viewer's question, and Scratch will take us on another adventure. Training is a very important part of what we do at Lakeville Fire. Tonight's training is about on deck. With us is Brian Kilmartin, District Chief of Training. Brian, what can you tell us about on deck?
Well, Chris, on deck is a process that we use for accountability, including rotating our crews in and out of fire scenes. It helps us keep account for who is in what position and where on the fire ground. It also allows us to maintain safety. Safety is a big part of our fire ground. We move the people in and out of the fire via passport, which is a little red par tag, a green or red par tag. And then we have positions in the fire ground. Obviously the firefighting activities on the fire ground. We have a rehab where the firefighters go and get refreshment, some water, some Gatorade, or they may go and get just a new air bottle for their air pack. And that whole process is on deck, including moving people that might be waiting for an assignment. They move from a staging area to a on-deck position. On deck also could be known in the past as a RIT team, which is a rapid intervention team. And those people would be the people to go in, the crew to go in and rescue if there was a firefighter that went down or a crew that needed assistance. So it's kind of it's a work in progress, it's fluid, it's always moving. The people are moving from that staging area up to the on-deck position. May go from on deck into a RIT position, or they may go to a position on the fire ground, whether it be firefighting duties, salvage and overhaul. Maybe it's possibly just doing an air sampling to see if we can take our air packs off at the end of the fire, something similar to that.
All right, now what we used to do was what we called RIT, which would have a team assigned to one position.
Yep.
How is that different from what we do now?
The difference is now is the past, that RIT team was an assignment. Say you and another firefighter arrive on scene, you'd be assigned to RIT, and you would likely stay there and stand there the entire fire operation. And you get fatigued, you get tired, people behind you, they don't ever get the opportunity to do the RIT team. The RIT team is kind of the unfun position because we hope you don't get to do any work, right? Because we don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah. So
this process, this on-deck theory, has been developed throughout most of, let's say, Hennepin and Dakota County. A current fire chief in Bloomington kind of started this theory of on deck where we're moving people through. It also gives us, there's some more specifics into it, where the RIT team didn't have a time frame where they could be in position. The on deck situation is managing the whole fire ground as a whole now, where you're, say, in working for 10 minutes and then you come out and then you get either rehabbed or refreshed. In the past, in the RIT situation, again, you would stand there the entire fire.
Okay. Now, when we do 10-minute cycles, why do we do that?
Firefighter fatigue. We don't want anybody to be in too long. You and another firefighter, say you're in doing a room and contents fire. You may think that you feel okay. You've only been in there 20 minutes. Remember, our air pack, our bottle is only 30 minutes, or roughly 30 minutes. You may feel as if you're okay, but your partner doesn't want to embarrass him or herself and say that you're tired. Or you think you're okay and your adrenaline carries you through. If we do a 10-minute cycle, then everybody's coming and going in the same interval, and we have less likelihood of somebody getting hurt, going down, some sort of failure of their equipment, something like that. We're constantly seeing people move and they're getting checked on.
And people stay fresh.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that somebody is in charge of the fire scene. Who would that person be, and how do they manage the scene?
Who would be in charge of the fire scene would be likely the first arriving chief officer. Say the fire chief arrives first. He will assign somebody to positions on the fire ground, whether it be a sector officer, maybe they are the on-deck person. And on-deck person, or person in charge of the on-deck can be anybody. It doesn't have to be a chief officer. It could be a captain, lieutenant, could be another firefighter. So who's in charge of the scene? Likely a chief officer, but then they start to delegate responsibilities as crews become available, as resources become available. And again, it could be anybody.
Okay.
We all train for that position.
Okay. So what are we going to do tonight in training?
Tonight we are going to, let me back up just a second if I can. Yep. One training ago, 2 weeks ago, we kind of did a walkthrough throughout the stations. The stations had just walking exercises. Mm-hmm. They had something to read, and then they'd come back and report. And we kind of just did a tabletop exercise. Tonight, in the old the old police department building, we're actually going to do a RIT scenario where we're going to work through it. We're going to send the fire trucks out to different locations so we can get a time sense of how long it takes for the trucks to get there. There's going to be someone in charge. It's not going to be the fire chief tonight. It's probably going to be another chief officer or captain. And we're going to go through it. We're going to work in the old building like we said. We're not going to spray water, but there's going to be tasks to be completed within the building, and it's going to cause sector officers, like I said before, it's going to cause them to call for resources. I need a pike pole. I need an axe. Okay. I need more people. I need another crew, something like that, so that we can work that on-deck system, and then people will shuttle in and out of the building and fulfill roles so that that situation is created. But it'll be as close to a real fire as we could get without actually having a fire or running water today. But all the other tasks will be there.
Brian, thanks for being here tonight, explaining how our new on-deck system works and how our training is evolving.
Absolutely, you're welcome. Thank you.
Could one of these people start a deadly fire? Careless smoking is the #1 cause of fire fatalities. However, most fires are preventable. So, will one of these people start a deadly fire? It's up to them. You can protect your family and your home from fire. Visit GetYourButtOutside.com. Brought to you by the Minnesota State Fire Chiefs Association and the Minnesota Fair Plan.
Did you know that the Lakeville Fire Department trains its firefighters in the operation of elevators? Recently, all firefighters were shown the inner workings of the elevator at the Lakeville Area Arts Center. Elevators are designed to be lowered by authorized individuals for maintenance in emergency situations. While all elevators are different, this training gives firefighters the necessary information to rescue people who get trapped in a malfunctioning elevator. If you ever get trapped in an elevator, there will be a phone inside that will be answered by someone that can contact emergency personnel. Now it's time to highlight some of the recent news around the fire department. Our newest fire truck, Tender 1, is officially now in service. And to mark this occasion, the department hosted a housing ceremony at Station 1. Members from the fire department, city council, and city staff participated in the dedication ceremony of the new truck. The old Tender was auctioned off this past winter and now finds its home in Minto, North Dakota, a small community that was using a modified dump truck. The community of Minto is very happy with their purchase, and LFD is glad the truck can meet the needs of a smaller community. LFD rookie class has started orientation and will begin their first class, Firefighter 1, in May. The class of 18 has already passed an agility test, background checks, and completed a half-hour interview. Rookie training will continue through July 2012. Mark your calendars. The annual LFD Waffle Breakfast is going to be held on July 9th during Panaprog at Station 1. This is the only fundraising event the LFD Relief puts on during the year, and all proceeds go to the LFD Relief Fund. Let's take a look at the most recent incident numbers. Call volume for the beginning of the year is up 9% from 2010, and here's a breakdown of call types. The department's goal is to distribute call volume evenly between each station. One major incident LFD responded to was a single car crash that included two 18-year-old adults that fled from police and ended up rolling their minivan and crashing into a tree. The accident happened near the intersection of 185th Street and County Road 50. The driver and passenger of the van, who were both wearing their seatbelts, had to be extricated from the vehicle. The actual extrication by rescuers was difficult and challenging because the vehicle was flipped over on its top and the ground is sloped at the location. The Lakeville Fire and Rescue teams worked quickly and professionally to extricate the two occupants from the wreckage of the vehicle. Both the driver and passenger sustained serious injuries from the crash. The passenger was transported by a North Air Care helicopter from the scene, and the driver was transported by ground ambulance. No other vehicles were involved in the crash, and it is not known at this time if alcohol was involved. The case remains under investigation by the Minnesota State Patrol and the Lakeville Police Department. Another major incident LFD responded to was a house fire in the Chadwick neighborhood, which is located near Lakeville South High School. This fire started in the middle of the night and quickly spread. First responders arrived within minutes of the call. Everyone in the house survived thanks to working smoke alarms, and the cause of this fire is still under investigation. The following day, LFD responded to another house fire off 178th Street on the west side of Interstate 35. Arson is suspected in this case, and LFD and the Lakeville Police Department are investigating. Lauren Nida, a fourth grader from Lakeview Elementary, was recently recognized at a city council meeting for not only winning this year's fire prevention poster contest, but for also having her poster picked to be on the cover of Minnesota Fire Chief magazine. Congratulations, Lauren, for this amazing accomplishment. Recently, firefighter Mark Jerezik retired from LFD with 21 years of service. Mark joined the fire department back in April of 1990. Over the years, he served as a firefighter, engineer, and was the first lieutenant to serve at Station 4. Mark was recognized at the city council meeting where he was given a shadow box for all his years of service. Mark also recently retired from Delta Airlines, which also included many years with Northwest and Republic Airlines. Congratulations, Mark, and thank you for all your years of service to the fire department. And we end things off with some sad news. Longtime Lakeville Fire Chief Barry Christensen passed away unexpectedly in early April. Barry was a longtime member of the Lakeville Fire Department with 27 years of service to the citizens of this community before he retired from the fire service in 2000. Barry served as the Lakeville Fire Chief for 22 of those years, leading Lakeville Fire Department as the community grew from a small town to a suburban city. We are all deeply saddened by this loss, not only because of Chief Barry Christensen's significant public safety contributions to our community over the past 30 years, but also because Barry always had a smile and a good word to say.
Did you know you haven't been signaling your turns and running through stop signs, and you've been driving aggressively and recklessly?
I don't know. I don't have a brain.
And now it's time for you, the viewer, to ask a question, where you have the chance to win a t-shirt in another exciting edition of Ask Tabor.
On today's Ask Tabor, we've got several questions from Dave in Lakeville. I'm going to try to answer a bunch of these, Dave, but I know I won't get all of them answered. So let's start off with your first question, which is about false alarms. Your question is, when an emergency call goes in, even for what turns out to be a false alarm or something small, it always looks like a lot of emergency vehicles and fire trucks show up. Why so many to one call? In the city of Lakeville, one thing you're going to see, depending on the call, is that the police are always going to respond. So you'll see police officers there. This works out really well because they're already on the street patrolling. They can get there first and collect some more information. And then other emergency vehicles, such as an ambulance and fire apparatus, are going to be arriving based on what information we get from dispatch. So while it might look like there's a lot coming in, it's going to depend on what information came into dispatch when they paged that call out and what information the trucks have when they're leaving. The benefit of having police officers arrive early, as well as chief officers from the fire department, you'll see them in the smaller vehicles like pickup trucks, Durangos, etc., is that they can collect information and move that information on to the responding units that are coming in after them. So they might get on scene, realize it's just a faulty smoke detector, be able to pass that information on to the engines, and the trucks may not even leave the station. However, what you might be talking about is that you might actually see engines or apparatus arriving on scene and preparing to do some work, and that's just because of the information that we've collected or that the officers have collected. For example, there might be smoke in the building from a faulty furnace or something like that. So we're going to come in and do our best to clean that area up before we turn it back over to the property owner and move on. Dave's next question is, when a call comes in, who gets to drive the truck? This depends a little bit on department to department, especially from a volunteer or paid on-call department to a full-time department. In a full-time department, they're going to have an assigned firefighter that's part of their shift. In a volunteer department, we're going to have a firefighter who's responsible for it, and they would drive if they're here. So for example, in Lakeville, each station has 2 engineers, and it's the engineer's responsibility to take care of the truck and also drive the apparatus when they're there. That's going to depend on whether that firefighter is actually on scene. For example, if I were at work, I wouldn't be able to respond to the call and drive the truck, so then another firefighter would do that. And all firefighters are trained to operate the apparatus as part of their rookie training, and so anyone would be able to step in and assume that role. And then Dave's final question is, how many years of service does a new fire truck have before it's retired? A piece of fire apparatus in the city of Lakeville could be in service from anywhere to 25 to 30 years. The truck is a pretty significant investment, so we want to make sure that we're getting all we can out of it. Could be spending anywhere from $40,000 to over $1 million on a truck, depending on what type of apparatus you're purchasing and what you're using it for. In a city like Burnsville, which is running a full-time department, they're retiring a truck after maybe 7 years with 100,000 miles on it. In Lakeville, we have trucks that have been in service for close to 20 years, and they've got about 50,000 miles on it. So it all depends on the use of the apparatus, what it's being used for and how it's being used, when it's being used, and what condition it's in. And if the truck's in still really good condition, we can continue to use it. If it's not doing as well and it's been worn out pretty well, we might retire it, send it on to another department and look at acquiring a brand new piece of equipment or possibly even a used piece of equipment, whatever will best meet the needs of the department. Hopefully I got some good answers there for you, Dave. If anyone else has a question, feel free to send us an email or give us a call. We'll be happy to try to answer your questions on air, and you'll get a free t-shirt for your troubles. Thanks.
Welcome to another edition of Chief's Corner. I'm Chief Mike Meyer, and I'm here with today with Fire Inspector Jay O'Connell, and we're here to talk about our fire extinguisher trainer that we just recently purchased. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Can you tell us a little bit about the extinguisher trainer and the reason why we bought the trainer?
Well, we purchased a fire extinguisher trainer with funding from the liquor store and some businesses in town. We've been working on this project for 3 to 4 years now. And the fire extinguisher trainer, what we want people to do is to know how to use a fire extinguisher in the event that you have an emergency and you need to use it. You don't want that to be your first try with a fire extinguisher. So by buying this trainer, we can train a lot of people in town, give them a feel for what it's going to be like. So when there is a fire and you're experiencing other emotions, that you know how to use the extinguisher already, so that's a given.
Is this something new, that the first time that we've had a trainer? We've always done fire extinguisher training in the past, correct?
We have offered fire extinguisher training through the fire marshal, and businesses have taken us up on that, but it's always been messy, and this system here we bought so that we can actually do fire extinguisher training in the middle of winter inside a business. This extinguisher trainer is unique because it can actually spray water. So when it's nice outside, we can put it by a drain in a apparatus bay or in a warehouse and train them that way. Or we've got a digital fire extinguisher, which sprays a laser at the screen and simulates that you're putting the fire out by, you got to make sure that you're sweeping the screen back and forth so that you're getting the fire out. So this laser we can actually do inside of a business, on somebody's desk. We can hide it in an office somewhere, tell them where the fire is, and then they find it, they go find the extinguisher, pull the pin, squeeze, aim, and sweep, and put the fire out. So we can put them through the whole process.
Okay. What's that acronym again for?
Pass, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep.
So those are the steps when you grab an extinguisher. That's what you should be doing to use it properly.
To use it, yep.
Okay. All right, should we do a demonstration of the trainer?
Yes, we can do that. So let me get it into laser mode. And with the trainer, I can pick a different type of fire. We can have a type A fire, B fire, or a C fire. A is normally ash. for paper, wood, something burning like that. B, we consider boil, so like a flammable liquid, gasoline. C would be current or electrical. So I'm going to pick a Class A fire, and we're just going to do an easy fire. So we'll go with a Group 1 here, just to make it easy. And he has a 5-pound fire extinguisher. This fire extinguisher will run out when it's out of product. So when I start the fire, just by pressing this button here, he has the safety tab on here. The fire extinguisher is in the green, so that we know that it's ready to be used, okay? And the handle's locked in. So he'll need to break the seal by pulling the pin or twisting it. That's the first P. Then you gotta aim it by taking your handle out, okay? And then you gotta squeeze. Normally you carry a fire extinguisher by the bottom part of the handle, because once you pull the pin, once you squeeze it, then the product comes out, the dry chemical powder most likely. And then you gotta sweep it at the base of the fire. You wanna stay 6 feet back so that you're not right on top of it. If you squeeze it, the pressure's gonna toss the fire into a different location or right back onto you. So you wanna stay at least 6 feet away. So we're ready. I can press start.
Whenever you're ready, Jay.
And then Mike will run through the actions here.
So I'm gonna pull my pin, handle, and
see, he's sweeping back and forth, the green laser, all right? And if he doesn't sweep back and forth, the fire can reignite. Now this one shows on the screen that it took him 13.4 seconds to extinguish. So when we're using this for firefighters, we can use a time stamp. But when you're having a fire, you think you gotta run to the fire extinguisher to grab it, and you gotta think, where is the extinguisher on the wall in your business? Most people I ask don't even know where the fire extinguisher is. They need to be in their building. So by doing this, now they're gonna go back to their office and look, where's my fire extinguisher? So that we're also training them that way. And then when they see that this works, hopefully we'll get them to buy an extinguisher for their home.
all right, Jay, we got a different extinguisher here. So what's the difference between the one that we just did and this one?
Well, Mike, the one you're holding is what we would use in a warehouse. And this one is actually loaded with water to simulate that you would spray water on there. Most of them are a powder-based extinguisher. But this fire extinguisher trainer, we can actually spray water at the screen so that you simulate when you're starting to run out of pressure, the water stream's gonna go down and you're gonna wanna back out and head for the exit. So this one gives a little more true to life because it's actually gonna run out, you're gonna see the drop in water pressure, and then you're gonna know that you gotta find your exit sign and get out of the building.
All right, should we give this one a try too?
Yep, and I'm gonna run it just at the same level we did with the laser, but this time you're gonna spray the water at the base of the fire, and we've got sensors down there that know that if you're making headway on the fire or not.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, we're gonna start her up, and go ahead. And the fire is out. So you saw in the when he was putting the fire out that one corner on the left side did not go out, and it's causing you to sweep back and forth on the screen so that you get the entire fire out. Now, well, it took very little water. We took less than 9 seconds to put that one out, but you could see the water going out. You can hear the water as you're spraying, so it gives a more real effect. What would happen if you had a fire. The only thing is, it'd be nice to have a powder, but then you'd have to clean up the powder and the dust gets everywhere. So simulating the water is still better than not having any training at all.
All right, Jay, this looks like it's going to be a great opportunity for training for us as far as what we can show the community, and also to our department. We've actually used this at some of our training with members. But the big thing I think that we need to look at is what are the other opportunities that we can use it for training for the community?
Well, we're planning on having this displayed at our waffle breakfast coming up during Panaprog that Saturday morning. So we hope to train quite a few people in there. That'll bring an awareness that we now have this product and that we can start doing some events, maybe with the Boy Scouts, some other groups in town, some businesses in town. This is really easy to set up, and it's an easy topic to talk about, and we'll just get more awareness out there. We'll also be using it at our fire department open house during Fire Prevention Week in October. So we've got some plans for it, and we're really hoping that people will embrace it, call us, and try to set up some time so we can train them on it.
Absolutely. If they're looking for training, we can provide that to them. And thanks for joining us on this edition of Chief's Corner.
Was that my exit? There you are, ma'am, all done.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thanks again.
Everyday emergency workers, as well as maintenance crews, construction crews, and first drivers work on busy roadways. And every day they're at risk of being killed.
On multi-lane highways, please move over one lane. Our lives depend on you.
It's me, Scratch the Fire Dog, because I love to scratch out the fires. Ha ha! Scratch is very excited today, because we are going to go on a fantastic, a super stupendous adventure. We are going to find out how many fire hydrants there are here in the city of Lakeville. So we're going to go all throughout the city and count them. It shouldn't be too many. How many fire hydrants could a city have? Pfft, not too many. So let's start out with this one right here. This is fire hydrant number 1. Oh, and look at that. And we got the little counter right up here in the corner to tell us how many hydrants there are. What would be your guess as to how many hydrants we have in the city? Kids? I think maybe we got 12 or 15. So let's go on our adventure and find out how many fire hydrants there are here in the city of Lakeville. This way. Oh, I really like that, the cute counter. 1. 2. 3. And there's number 4. This is a fun, kids. Hey, this is a lot of work counting of fire hydrants, and this is only number 16. Unbelievable, it's taken much too long to do this. I need to find a quicker form of transportation so I can count this stuff. So, hey, I'm going to use the Channel 16 production van. Hey, come on, let's go and give me the keys. Let's get out of here. Look it over there. What's that guy doing with that fire hydrant? Let's check it out. Ho-ho! Hey, I know what this guy's doing. He's flushing the hydrants. Hey, you gonna flush the hydrant for me? Yep, I'm gonna open this one up. All right, crank it on, man. I'm getting out of the way so I don't get wet. There she blows! Oh boy, that's another great job, and I got to count another fire hydrant. Hey, thanks for flushing the hydrant, pal. Hey, let's keep counting. Oh, this is amazing. Look at this. I'm only at 256, and I've been doing this not even out of one neighborhood. But how can I find out exactly how many fire hydrants there are? Wait a minute. Fire hydrants have water in them. Hey, maybe if I go to the city's water treatment facility, they could help me discover exactly how many fire hydrants there are. So, I'm going to burn rubber. Stand back, camera operator. Here we go. Hey, my name is Scratch the Fire Dog, and I'm trying to find out how many fire hydrants there are in the city of Lakeville. Is there somebody back there who could help me?
Why don't you just wait a minute? I'll go find somebody who knows something about it. Just a moment, please.
Oh, good. Very quiet and polite lady. You'd think she was retiring or something. Oh, finally, after hours and hours of trying to find out how many fire hydrants there are in the city of Lakeville, I'm going to find out. Hey, hello, sir. How are you?
Fine.
I'm a Scratch the Fire Dog. Could you please tell me how many fire hydrants there are in the city of Lakeville?
I sure can. 3,385.
How many?
3,385.
I would never be able to go and count all of those. Wow, that's very cool. Well, thank you very much, sir. Oh, that's great. Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Oh, this is fantastic. Over 3,000 fire hydrants in the city of Lakeville. And I was going to try and count them all. Oh! Until next time, everyone. This is Scratch the Fire Dog, because I like to scratch out the fires. 3,000.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of On Call. If you have questions, comments, an idea for this show, or want to send a question in for Ask Tabor, feel free to call us at 952-985-4700 or use the email address on your screen and send us an email. Thanks for joining us, and all fire units are clear.
Commuters traveling along Cedar Avenue between Lakeville and Apple Valley will be in for major delays this summer. Road workers are expanding a 4-mile stretch of Cedar Avenue to include bus rapid transit. These improvements will create bus-only shoulder lanes and change access to make travel safer for all. Cedar Avenue will often be down to 1 lane in each direction, so please adhere to the reduced speeds in the construction zone. Road workers ask people to be patient and drive safely. We're working to make a smooth ride for you.